there are a number of corridors that are not owned by JPS. Despite our effort to communicate and share that with the public, they're still looking at, once a light is out, it's JPS' responsibility.
Recently, at KSAMC, there was a bit of contention in terms of the street lights. And it has been a contentious issue, and they passed a resolution. But also in 2019, a resolution was passed as well for JPS to do audits of the street light twice per year. I want to know where you are with that. Is that being done? And in terms of street lights across the city, what's the challenge there? Because they've complained that a lot of them aren't working in their respective communities and their divisions.
So, I'm going further. In 2017, the JPS and the government entered into a program to organize the entire fleet of streetlights across the island. Where that program was an extensive program for us to convert the streetlight to what we call a smart LED program. That program came to an end in 2021. At that point in time, we had just around 105,800 streetlights as part of that program. That we were able to do that target, complete that target by the end of 2021. With that program in place, we saw a process of changing out while at the same time maintaining the old. There was a particular point in time where the rate at which you maintain the old was slower than the rate at which you convert. So that in 2019, that was what had created that issue there. The rate at which what we were converting was higher than the rate, and persons wanted us to move faster to convert in their area. But it was a very structured program and a program that was supported by the Ministry of Local Government at the time. There wasn't an audit as mandated by the KSA because of where we were in the program. We had sufficient data to manage that conversion program. We're fast forward to today. As it is now, we are in a much better place. Right? As it is today, 93% across the country of our lights are working fully functional. The other 7% is a combination of lights that were not properly captured on the system, lights that may have installed illegally, and so forth. But we're actually working that through. There is a particular challenge within the KSA in that there are a number of corridors that are not owned by JPS. Despite our effort to communicate and share that with the public, they're still looking at, once a light is out, it's JPS' responsibility. I can cite a few. 6 miles all the way along Washington Boulevard to the top of Dunrobin. None of those lights are owned by JPS. Airport Runabout, coming all the way, thank you. The airport runabout coming all the way to Norman Manley Boulevard, the entire Norman Manley Boulevard, not owned by JPS. These are major corridors. Along Oak Road, major corridors, not owned by JPS. Now, despite let's go a little further. Mullines Road, just think about this major corridor. The entire Mullines Road is not owned by JPS. We have been in dialogue with the Ministry of Local Government, and we have been in dialogue with the National Work Agency. We have been in dialogue generally with the government to transition those corridors to JPS. Over the years, JPS would have at times do some repairs, but most of these corridors have now been in a state of disrepair. So what are we doing? We are advanced with the government to develop a program of rehabilitation and a program of transitioning those into JPS with some certain conditions. I believe where we are with that now, there's something before cabinet for them to make a final decision on a way forward where that is concerned. As it relates to other repairs, in the KSA space, we have just about 2% of lights that we own that are not functional. Our maintenance program in the last year or so have been challenged by the same challenge that we're telling about in terms of material and global constraints. But we are always willing to work, and have been working with the local council to expedite repairs where we can, and we will continue that sort of relationship. They have placed a mandate, but when we drill into what they are referring to and where they are referring to, most of these corridors are not owned. Right?
What are the considerations
for
changing over to JPS? You said certain considerations.
JPS is the best place Well, first, let's say this first. The first one, this card, from a customer perspective, seeing a light and believing this JPS go is a big anomaly that is out there. So one of the first things that we want to do is how can we best have one body across the country managing street light. So that is we're taking that on from our customer service, from our perspective. It's not cost effective for us, but we have decided as a company to take that on as part of our customer service delivery. The other benefit for us is that there is one entity who have responsibility for the paying of the bills and the port, and that is the local government. They are the only entity by law in Jamaica who have responsibility for the payment of the energy that is consumed, that the street light consumes. So we want to have that one singular customer, that one singular focus for us to ensure that we have that.
Yeah, Blaine, as you said, I mean, let's be clear. We want to take over that responsibility.
Yes, we would.
It's not like we're going to make a huge profit on that.
No, but that could backfire in terms of the
Well,
perception of the public.
Exactly. But
Right.
formally, we're not responsible. But for the elements mentioned, for the reputation of the company, for technical elements because we think we have a better expertise, and for the element mentioned that basically the previous owners have let a lot of those lights go into disrepair. We are willing to say, okay, let's do the right things here. Let's take over. But we want to make sure we don't take over something where the next day then we have to go and spend millions to repair. We says, we're working
them
with you
standards.
before the transfer to bring it to an acceptable level for the consumers, and then we take over and we do a normal job. But we're not going to take, over some crap and then have to do the work the next day. So that's sort of the consideration to make sure we work in good faith to improve the level of the consumers, and then we take over and we do our job like we do for the.
Sure.
And many of those
Finally, what's it expected to cost?
Many of those corridors were never designed or were built to JPS co-design standards, and quite frankly, hence one of the reasons why they fail. Because the focus was on building a road, not necessarily building a proper infrastructure incorporated in street light. And you find a lot of the wiring infrastructure is unfindable. So therefore, we don't. So that cost, what do we say? It's the amortization of electricity sales, typically from our dipstick in some of the instances, would not make sense, and that's why we have to come to some level of arrangement in terms of the state of which the asset needs to be handed over. For it to be an asset versus a liability. Because as you know, rightfully know, expectations change the next day once it's handed over. And that's some of the conversation. But as I said, we are motivated because it impacts our reputation negatively. And it impacts, more importantly, we see as a corporate citizen the aesthetics of major corridors in
And
darkness.
safety.
So who all of them are owned by KSAC or other parts of government?
Majority of those are owned by the National Work Agency.
Or UDC.
Right.